This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
We get this from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. And remember, I did not say this, all right? Somebody wrote this in, and I read it. And now I get this. Chuck, this was not worse than getting embarrassed by Oregon. The Oregon game was watched by a national audience. Yes, we are all aware. Nobody watched the Tech TCU game last night or showed up to the game. Now, I'm sure somebody watched it. Okay, I did. So that's inaccurate to say nobody. And it's inaccurate to say that nobody showed up to the game, because when I saw the stands, they looked pretty full. But yes, you're right. This was not worse than getting embarrassed by Oregon on national TV. And I'm embarrassed or beat down. I mean, that's all along those things. We get this, Jamie, from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Are we kidding ourselves about the quality of the Big 12 conference? Well, I guess I'd look at it like this, Jamie. The conference, I mean, you look at who's in the conference and look kind of where you are here. Arizona's number 2 in the country right now. Iowa State's 6. Houston is 7. Texas Tech is 10. It's a conference that just is beating up on each other, and it's just you're eating your own. And I think sometimes that speaks to the quality of a conference more than anything else.
If the question is about men's basketball, I don't think we're kidding ourselves. I think the conference is really good.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Different sports may be different, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
right.
maybe we would say that about football, or maybe we would say that about baseball. Maybe we would say that about women's basketball this year. I don't think we're saying that about men's basketball.
No.
I don't think we're kidding ourselves.
No, I don't think so either.
I think it's a really good conference.
Yeah.
There may be some bad teams at the top, but there are definitely some good ones at the other end.
Yeah. I can always rely on you for a sensible, reasonable retort, and I mean that in the most complimentary of ways. That you always have a good sense about you and a voice of reason. Sometimes when people are losing their heads amongst them. Okay.
I try.
Yeah. No, I think you really do a great job of that, to be quite honest. I mean, it's sometimes you amaze me.
I think the question is, are we kidding ourselves? The question really is, are we kidding ourselves at how sensible we think Jamie is? That's more of a legitimate question.
No, yeah. I think it's really good. I got to tell you, I mean, you know me, I like to talk to people and meet folks and things like that. I just met a gentleman here who is 80 years old, okay? And he looks about 60. And among the things that he just told me is he still wrestles in a senior league in Iowa. Wrestles. I mean, he's an 80-year-old man and wrestles and looks like he could beat people. I mean,
good for him. That's awesome. Yeah.
It is. It is awesome. It is awesome. So, I mean, you just never know who you're going to meet or who you're going to run into. I was really pleased to see the awards that were handed out yesterday for the Lady Raiders, including for Coach Gerlich getting named and winning the Big 12 Coach of the Year. I thought that was well deserved. And then Snyder Collins being named the 6th Player of the Year after being one of the best bench players in the country. And I mean, she's doing a great job for your team right now. 15.4 points. She's just 0.2 of a point in Big 12 play behind Bailey Maupin, who's averaging 15.6. And I do not know her status for tomorrow's game. My understanding is they've held her out of practice. I think that's what Coach Gerlich said yesterday before the team left for Kansas City. So, I mean, certainly you don't want to take 15 points out of your lineup, but you want her to be healthy. And I don't know. I don't know. So hopefully another day of rest will be good for her and get her out on the floor tomorrow for the winner of K-State and Cincinnati today. Um, the other winners yesterday, in addition to Coach Gerlich and Snudda Collins, Bailey Maupin makes the All Big 12 first team. She's having a terrific year. And then Jalen Bristow getting named honorable mention as well. I was a little disappointed, and Snudda also makes the second team All Big 12. I was disappointed not to see Danae Fritz, Jamie, on the All Big 12 defensive team, because I thought, and I think she's been outstanding for you. And I look at the list, and I'm not going to tell you who I'm not here to judge who shouldn't be on that list. I just think that Danae Fritz should have been on that list.
Yeah, when that is immediately where I looked down to see if she got put on that list. So I was a little bit surprised that she didn't. Of all the things that you mentioned there, I think the Snudda is the sixth man of the year. That's a layup, right? That's so obvious, right? She was so good coming off the bench. That was a gimme. Same for Coach Gerlich when you're picked 13th and you finish 5th. I mean, you were, all the top teams that you beat, and heck, you were in the running to win a conference championship with about a week and a half left in the season. So, that one felt like a gimme too. I was the most excited for Bailey because she's not been a first team member before. I think she's only been honorable mention, correct, Chuck? I
believe that's correct.
Yeah, had not even made second team, and it's kind of like a career award for her. I feel like it was 4 really, really good years, and she finally gets that first team honor. So I was most happy for her. I think that's really cool.
And she's in really good company there. The other one that I felt like that could have been a little bit higher up, and maybe at least third team, was Jalen Bristow, just in terms of, and she didn't finish maybe as strong as you would have liked to have seen, and maybe that's what hurt her and not being on the third team. But
they had a third team?
Yeah, they had a third team.
Okay.
In addition to an honorable mention, just again with the turnaround that she had from last year to this year, was just remarkable, and what she meant to your team was just absolutely huge. So that was a little bit of a disappointment, but at least she got honorable mention.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
The Morning Drive today is Wednesday, March the 4th, 2026, and with this day in sports history, here is Jeff McGuire.
Yeah, going to start us off in 1927. Babe Ruth becomes the highest paid player in Major League Baseball history when he signs a 3-year, $70,000 per season contract with the New York Yankees.
Big money.
Whatever will he do with all of that money?
Eat a lot of hot dogs.
1961, the 8th ACC men's basketball tournament took place. Wake Forest beat Duke 96-81 to win the championship. 1976, San Francisco Giants are bought for how much money do you think?
San Francisco Giants are bought for,
in 76.
I'll say $25 million.
$25 million from Chuck. What do I hear from Jamie?
18 million.
18 million. Gentlemen, you are overpaying for a Major League Baseball franchise.
Is it about 5.5?
$8 million in 1976. Don't get me wrong. That's a lot of money. However, that's a bargain for a Major League Baseball team. 1984, tennis legends Martina Navratilova retains her WTA Tour Championship in New York City, beating Chris Everett 6-3, 7-5, 6-1 for her 5th overall championship title. Those two faced each other a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2019, Jarrett Culver led the Red Raiders with 16 points and 7 rebounds, while Matt Mooney had 15 points. Brandon Francis added 12 to lead the reserves, and Davide Moretti went for 11 points after going 3 for 3 on three-pointers in a 70-51 win over Texas.
Yes.
Hey, just so you know, $8 million today probably won't even buy you a backup starting pitcher. 45.57 million is what $8 million is worth today.
It is National Pound Cake Day.
Okay.
Happy birthday to Patricia Heaton, who is 68. Everybody's favorite Golden State Warrior, Draymond Green, is 36. Steve Weber, 65. Kevin Johnson is 60. George Pinkins is 25. And Michael Gallup is 30. And after 20 turbulent years of marriage, actress Lucille Ball files for divorce from her husband and collaborator Desi Arnaz on this day in 1960. Of course, both famous for being on I Love Lucy. They are both the owners and producers of the show with Desilu Studios. It's one of the highest profile divorces in American history at the time. And that is this day in sports history.
This day in sports history. All right. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, probably not my better statement there. A backup starting pitcher. Fine moment. Yeah, that's fair. I was trying to come up with something clever.
Please, that's not even the craziest thing we said today.
That's not.
And I also think you can get a backup starting pitcher for $8 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, probably so. Again, not one of my better moments there, but doing the best I can here. 6:49 this morning here on the morning drive. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that. The mobile app. The Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. I saw this and I thought, well, good for him for calling this out. And there's a thing in Atlanta where they call it a Magic City Monday. Okay, and they're going to do a promotion in Atlanta called a Magic City Monday. And it's to celebrate and embrace this Magic City thing that they've got going on there, which is it's a gentleman's club. At any rate, Luke Cornett, who plays for the San Antonio Spurs, he has asked the Atlanta Hawks to cancel this promotion. And I just applaud him for coming out and saying what he had to say, just from the standpoint that his opinion's not going to be the most popular. But he's right. Luke Cornett said that women in the adult entertainment industry experience abuse, harassment, and violence to which they should never be subjected. He said he did not feel the team was being respectful to the daughters, wives, sisters, mothers, and partners that we know and love by highlighting Magic City. He ended the message by encouraging others to join him and asking the Hawks to cancel the Magic City promotion. He addressed the promotion again yesterday, saying he has not heard from the Hawks. And then in response to that, Al Horford came out and just tweeted his statement, Luke Cornett's, and then just said, "Well said, Luke." And I think sometimes when people speak out against something that's going to be, quote, popular and, applauded and things like that, I just feel like that, those voices, his voice should be heard as well. And I applaud him for speaking out and maybe being a majority opinion, but a minority voice, Jamie.
I just can't believe the Hawks are doing it. I gotta believe that it's not the majority of people that think this is a great thing to be celebrating. I really.
No, my point was the majority of people think what Luke is thinking, but it's a minority of people that will speak out. like he did.
Okay,
is what my point was.
Maybe so. I would think the majority of people agree with him, and so I don't know why the Hawks would do this. Like, what's the win there? It's just really dumb marketing as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And like I said, when I saw this, it's just like, oh man, what? One, why would you do it? And two, why would you go out of the way to do it? And good for Luke Cornett, who's, he's a role player for the Spurs, and he just felt like it needed to be said, and he said it. So I applaud him for doing that and for speaking out and saying what he had to say. The principal owner of the Hawks is a guy by the name of Jamie Gertz. He is a filmmaker and actor, and he's doing it. Apparently last year Magic City celebrated 40 years with a 5-part Stars docuseries called Magic City, an American fantasy, that was produced by Gertz, who is the principal owner of the Hawks, which is why they're doing this. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is why they're doing this, because
silly.
They're owners. It is silly. It is silly. But again, I just thought it was, good for Luke Cornett, who's the backup center. He published his blog this week and took issue with that. He said, "I would just like to ask respectfully that the Atlanta Hawks cancel this promotion with Magic City. The NBA should desire to protect and esteem women, many of whom work diligently every day to make this the best basketball league in the world. We should promote an atmosphere that is protective and respectful of daughters, wives, sisters, mothers, and partners that we know and love." Anyway, I thought well said. So good for him, and maybe the commissioner will come out and say, "Hey, is this what we really want to do here, guys?" But the commissioner works for the owners, and the owners have the power. So my guess is that this will go on as scheduled. It is 6:55 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Your thoughts, your comments, your reactions on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that. The mobile app presented by Happy State Bank.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Nice to have you with us today. We come to you from the First United Bank studio. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that, of the mobile app. Visual Edge IT hotline at 2 is open, 806-771-0973. Syntax Hank says this, Jamie, and then we'll get to spelling. "We played like a band whose lead singer was slightly off key all performance. CA was slightly off key all game. It happens." Syntax Hank.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right. 74th annual Lubbock Regional Spelling Bee is Saturday at the YWCA. It all begins at 10 a.m. It is sponsored by Sonic and presented by Double T 97.3 and Fox 34. In the spirit of that, thanks to our friends at Davis Paintless Dent Repair, Jamie, with his randomizer, is coming up with words for me to spell in the spirit of that. I have spelled one correctly between last week and this week. And Jamie, I'm sad to report to you, I think they're going to play this back this week on Good Day Lubbock. But Choice and I got beat by James Epler and Kristen Carroll from the Fox 34 Good Day Lubbock morning crew. So we did not represent you in good stead. We missed.
Well, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
But I'm glad the TV folks got a W so they can feel good about themselves.
Of course,
they're good people and we want them to be happy. So
yeah. Of course, the word that I misspelled, Choice told me later, he goes, I knew that one. I'm like, well, he could have said, "Hey, I got this," but they're like, it was directed to me, and then there's not many. The rules are loose, so I could have maybe deferred to Choice, but he's like, "Yeah, I knew how to spell that one." I'm like, oh, yeah, nice. All right, Jamie, what does the randomizer have for me today?
All right, my random word today that I shook it up and pulled it out. The definition is using more words than necessary or using excessive words to express an idea.
Okay. Never happened on this show before. That has never, ever, ever happened.
Today's word is verbose.
Verbose. Chuck Heinz can be verbose daily on the morning drive. Verbose. Verbose. I wanna say it's this way, Jamie. Verbose. VERBOSE. Verbose.
Well done, Mr. Heinz.
Oh, thank you. Well, when you're verbose, you should be able to spell verbose. Okay?
Nailed it.
Verbose. Nailed it. Somebody says this on the Yates Flooring Center chat line, and I'll post a picture of it on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. David says this: have you guys seen the video clip about the basketball court for the Big 12 tournament? It looks amazing, like playing on an oversized iPad. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'll get to that maybe after Jamie's question of the day, or maybe next hour, and I'll post something from last night. The Lady Raiders got to shoot on it. All right. So I saw this morning, Jamie, and I thought, well, this is kind of interesting. The question, and this is on The Athletic, and it was from last week sometime. The question is, and the headline is, who will be coaching your school in 2030? So that's not that far away. Predicting every Power 4 football program's head man. My question for you is, at this point in time, in all honesty, would you be surprised if Joey McGuire is not coaching the Red Raiders in 2030?
I will be surprised that he is not, if he is not, correct.
Yeah. I think I'm with you on that. I mean, you're Big 12 champions. He's still a relatively young man. And, seemingly, in good health. And you'd go, well, why wouldn't he be still coaching in 2030? Especially if you're having the success that you're having. Now, if you've won a couple national championships, or maybe even just one, he might say, I'm going to take it to the house. But I don't get that from him. I don't get that vibe. The vibe I get from a guy like Joey McGuire, and again, I'm not in his office daily asking him questions and sitting down and having a cup of coffee with him and, talking about life and, career goals. But this is what they say. And I think I would be surprised, one, if Joey McGuire is not your head coach. You want to take a wild stab at who The Athletic says will be the head coach of the Red Raiders in 2030?
Eric Morris.
No, that's who I would have thought. No, it's another guy that has spent some time here in Lubbock and spent some time on staff. A guy whose playing career didn't work out, but had a pretty high degree of success at another school in the conference, and then left. And the school that he's at currently, he hasn't had the greatest amount of success so far. Does that give you a hint?
It did give me a hint. I don't have a guess for you.
Okay. Lincoln Riley, the USC head coach, is who they project to be the head coach of the Red Raiders in 2030.
Yeah, I don't think those folks know the whole backstory and what his stance was when he left and all that good stuff.
Yeah. This is what they say. Riley's 4 years at USC have felt unsatisfying for everyone involved. Agreed. But the two sides are also kind of stuck with each other because of his massive contract. I think you'll start seeing those massive contracts, or at least in terms of length or buyout, I think you'll start seeing that to dissipate as I think these coaching jobs become more transactional, kind of like the NFL, where, hey, if you're not getting it done within 2 or 3 years, you're probably out because there's just too much money involved. It goes on to say Texas Tech could have the money and motivation to provide an off-ramp and bring Riley back home to Lubbock. Man, I guess I look at it this way. He would have to have almost a massive amount of success, and we would have to have almost an equally massive amount of disappointment. Because I see these two programs going in opposite directions at this point in time.
Yeah, I don't know that USC is terrible right now, but they're just, they were a top 25 team last year, most of the year. So I wouldn't say they're going in opposite directions. I just don't think that they're, the top of the heap. And so, again, I think that Joey McGuire is going to be there. So I don't think we'll be knocking on the door of Lincoln Riley.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't, and the other thing is, I'm not sure that, I think that if you had your quote pick of the litter, that Lincoln Riley would be the guy that you would say, "Hey, come on home, Lincoln Riley."
I agree.
I don't see that. So, sometimes these articles are on target and sometimes they're not. So that's kind of how I see things. It was interesting listening to Craig Wells yesterday on the end of the bench, and he was talking about a recent conversation he had with Eric Morris's dad, and just talking about how happy he was there, and his kids have already moved there, and they bought a house or got a house there already, and in school, and likes the small town nature of Stillwater, and seems to have fit in already. So that's good. Somebody says, sign me up for Lincoln Riley right now. Would y'all trade him for Joey right now? Heck no, I wouldn't. No way. No way. No way.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, gentlemen. My question for you today is, what Red Raider football player is prime for a breakout in 2026? A returning player to this year's upcoming team. What Red Raider football player is prime for a breakout in 2026?
Breakout. Does that mean that you were like a little disappointed with what he did last year, or that you're just thinking that he's got even more to give you than what he gave you last year? Is that kind of what you're looking for there?
I mean, it can be a guy that didn't have a chance. It could be a guy that was disappointing, whatever. You can take it a bunch of different ways, I guess.
Because I feel like if I say who I'm going to say, you're going to go, well, he had a pretty good year, but I think he's got more to give you, and I think he could be just huge for this football team next year. And I think he's the kind of guy that maybe Brendan Sorsby would really like to get to. I'm going to say Terrence Carter. Because
Okay.
I think he's a guy that could be a first round pick in the draft if he had the kind of year that I think that he could have. So put me down for TC.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Travis?
say Micah Hudson. He's been in the system now. We're losing two guys to the NFL draft. It's just gonna be Coy Eakin and him now are familiar with the offense. He had 2 touchdowns against West Virginia and 50 yards, and that's been the best game of his career. But I think Sorsby's going to be getting him the ball, and I think they're going to try to get him involved in the offense this year.
I mean, when you consider that Micah last year had just 8 catches for 112 yards, you absolutely think he could, do way better than that. And you're right. It does feel like he'll get his first chance. That would have been my first answer. I'm going to go with a guy that kind of like Chuck, I still think had a good year last year, but I think he's going to have a much bigger year this year. And my answer is a little bit crazy because in one publication he was an All-American, and I'm going with A.J. Holmes. I think he's a terrific player. I think he was overshadowed by how great of defensive players you had around him. But I absolutely think he's going to be a stud. I think he's going to be and maybe as good as Lee Hunter was for you last year, or at least close to it. And I think he's the lead guy now in that interior of your defense. And, I mean, his numbers last year, 38 total tackles, 4.5 sacks. I think he could have a monster year for the Red Raiders this upcoming year. So, again, I would have gone with Micah Hudson number 1, but if I was going with a defensive guy, I would go with Holmes Jr.
Okay, and off of my line, my niece's husband Michael says he agrees with Travis and you, Jamie, essentially, and Micah Hudson. He said, "I'd like to see Micah Hudson have a breakthrough year." Yeah, we'd all like to see Micah Hudson have a big year because that'd be awesome. That'd be a great story.
I think another good candidate is John Curry. I think he was really good as starter, but I think he's got the potential to just be a big time ball hawk and a guy who just, with Jacob Rodriguez gone, we talk about being a great linebacker. And I would put Roberts in that category, but I already think Roberts was a star for you last year, even though he was still overshadowed by Jacob. So, I
mean, he won the Big 12 player of the game for the championship game. So, yeah, it's hard to say, well, he's going to break out. Somebody says this: the easy answer feels like Quentin Joyner. The next option is Micah Hudson with the revamped wide receiver room.
Yeah, Quentin Joyner wouldn't have to do much to way outdo what he did last year, right?
Right. And somebody else says this: Joyner was my first thought, though this will be his first active year with Tech. Somebody says TC was a star last year also. I know, but he got dinged up towards down the end. I just feel like he's a guy that has more to give you and could be even utilized more if you can protect the quarterback and give him a little bit of time to get the ball down the field a little bit. Because I feel like that he's a big guy that could really step through tackles and maybe get you some extra yards after the catch, so to speak.
Carter's an interesting one with me. You mentioned him possibly being a first-round pick. I wonder with his lack of height how much that hurts him when it comes to NFL scouts. I think he's a great college football player, but I don't know that he necessarily has the measurables to play tight end at the next level. So is there a different position, a slot position of some sort that they could use him, because he's definitely a guy that can create mismatches?
He's 6'2", 245. So yeah, you're probably. Somebody else says this: I feel like Coy Aiken will have an incredible year this year, who really didn't have his best year last season. Okay. My other question that kind of went through my mind for you, Jamie, is because of all the guys that got so much publicity last week with the combine and stuff like that, will you personally be more interested in the NFL draft this year than maybe what you've been in years past, just because it seems like we have a lot of guys that are going to be active?
Interested in that. Will I, when I have a chance, look at my phone to see who got drafted where? Yes. Interested, will I sit there and watch 5 hours of Mel Kiper and them talking about who comes next? No.
Okay.
I have way too much going on. Way too many hobbies and I
understand.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested and anxious to find out, but I'm also not the guy that needs to know immediately.
Okay, that's my job. I need to know like right away. So
yeah, I can live my life, and then when I'm wanting the information, can pull out my phone and go, oh look, Lee Hunter's a Jacksonville Jaguar. That's cool. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the draft is April the 23rd in Pittsburgh. So, anyway.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Thanks for being with us with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Come to you from the First United Bank studio. take your thoughts and comments on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that, or the mobile app. Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. Jamie, the Big 12 women's tournament starts tomorrow. The men will play next week. There's been quite a bit of discussion about the glass floor that they're going to use this year for the Big 12 at the T-Mobile Center, which is just down the street here in downtown Kansas City. And had a chance to go with the team last night as they got some shots up after dinner. And it's pretty cool. It is pretty cool. They can do an awful lot with this floor. I spent, as you probably would imagine, got to talk with the guys that are selling this thing and bringing it in. It's being housed in Orlando. There's a couple of teams in Europe that are using this floor right now. It was used at the All-Star game for the All-Star game activities, at least. And this is the first time that actual competition is going to be played on it. And they are aggressively marketing this thing. The NBA is a partner, investor maybe would be a better word in this thing. The company's name is ASB Glass Floor America. And so I got to talk with one of the sales guys and then the head sales guy last night. And I mean, it's got give to it. It's really cool because when like there's water spilled or just sweat, you see it, and they're able to go right to the spot and wipe it up. They can put logos all over this thing, which I think is awesome. Just to help market it and help pay for stuff. That's how things work. You know, you got to have some advertising that they can put on it, all sizes. You can also write on it. Like he gave me this iPad and just a little grease pen, a little marker. It's not you write it. It's like a telestrator. Okay, it's really what it is. And so you can sign your name or whatever you want to put on there, and then it shows up on the court. And it was just really, really cool. And they can put obviously the graphics. You can put text logo at center court. They have the Big 12 logos. It can change colors. And it's good for the players too because it's got give to it, and it breathes, and the shoes squeak like you would on a wood floor. So I think it's something kind of neat. And I asked him, I said, so what would this thing cost? Like if Texas Tech were to do it? And they said, well, it's kind of a lease deal with a partnership in terms of some kind of a split with, you know, the advertising and how it all worked. But the bottom line is, on an annual basis, it would be somewhere around 600 to 800 grand a year.
Okay.
The question then is how much can you monetize that thing for, and what's the value of it to be able to do that, and does it make sense to do that? But at any rate, it's a novel idea, probably for basketball traditionalists. Which, I mean, I'm a traditional guy. You know, having a wood floor is kind of what you're used to, right? There were times when basketball teams used synthetic floors. I don't know if you remember ever seeing those back in the day. Those were kind of in the 70s, but it didn't have any give to it, so it led to some injuries. And maybe it was wasn't quite as sophisticated as they thought at the time. But anyway, I thought it was neat. It certainly is going to look great on television, and will look great in the arena for those that are there. But it was pretty cool. It kind of exceeded my expectations when I got there. And of course, you know, Fink and I had to both put our names on the floor and then take a picture. So that was a lot of fun to be quite honest with you, to see that and be able to sign your name and then have it right there on the court was pretty cool. I'll put that on the Yates Flooring Center chat line so that folks can take a look at it and throw tomatoes at it. Bobby Hot Dogs asked this: did 173 get a chance to use his verbose skills to talk those guys into turning the floor into an enormous Chuck Heinz business card? Kinda. Kinda.
When you say that the court has give, does a normal court have give?
I mean, it doesn't have that much give. I guess it doesn't. What I kind of mean by that is it doesn't feel like that your foot sticks to the floor.
Wouldn't you want it to feel just like a normal court?
Yeah, and I think that they would. I mean, I talked to one coach last night, and he thought it was awesome. He loved it. He thought the floor was, and not from a graphic standpoint, but just from a playing standpoint. And apparently it's supposed to be easier on the player's body and like legs. So we'll see. I mean, that's, you never know until you're actually playing games on it. They'll play actual games on it today. So it's not like playing on like a glass, tabletop, so to speak, like your coffee table that has glass in the middle of it. But I don't know. I just thought it was kind of, like I said, I thought it was unique. Thought it was kind of fun. And they're aggressively marketing it. So it's something that I'm sure somebody will buy it at some point in time, whether a NBA person or a college, and figure out a way to make some money on it. And so that'll be cool.
Definitely cool. It definitely neat. I think it's I don't know. I think it'll be fun for all the players. I think they'll think that's cool.
Yeah, they thought it was. I think they thought it was cool last night. And they did a little TikTok video and stuff like that. So I think they thought it was.
How about you and Fink? Did you guys get a TikTok video in?
No, although I was informed yesterday. This is a company edict, all right, that I now have to get a TikTok account. So it'll be yet another distraction in my life. And I'm going to comply. I'm going to do it. I don't know what
I'm sure they really had
what I'm going to do with
twist your arm there, Chuck.
No, they did. I mean, I was like,
Sure.
the question was who here doesn't have a TikTok account? And I'm like, well, I don't have one. Like, well, you will now. I'm like, yes, sir, I will now. So, at any rate, I'm going to post this from last night on the Yates Flooring Center chat line, and you guys can take a look at it.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.